Read the room. Oh wait, you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player and can't read.
Welcome to another video, and today we are playing in the 2004 event with everyone's favorite formerly banned card, released temporarily, Pot of Greed. Pot of Greed. Nobody knows what it does, but opponent using it to draw 2 additional cards. Alright, now that we know what Pot of Greed does, we can use it ourselves. Everybody has Pot of Greed today, and I love it. Powerhouse, Mother Grizzly. This deck is water, alright? Back in the day, 2004, there were not that many water cards. This is really one of 2 water decks. Unfortunately, this event is only going to last 4 days, so make sure you play it while it's still around. Check out my deck list. Generally, very cheap. I know you're going to say, oh, you crafted Pot of Greed, it's banned. It's one you are. To have Pot of Greed, I'm going to keep it forever, so it's all worth it. The rest of the deck is all like N's and URs and R's, so N's and R's, sorry, mostly. So very cheap. Opponent hitting our set enemy controller with the Mystical Space Typhoon. Jar of Greed, all right, normally unplayable, but in this format, Greed is good, and we want as many Jar of Greeds as possible. It's slow, it filters a card, it's basically deck thinning. Also will bait out opponent's interaction. Now, opponent MST'd the correct card, but if they target your Jar of Greed with a Mystical Space Typhoon, you're going to be feeling so good. Alright, so what is the strategy with this deck? What is the powerhouse water card? Well, one of them is the Yomi ship. Alright, if opponent destroys it with their monster also gets destroyed. I know that sounds really bad in today's meta, but you're going to see it's amazing. Opponent flipping Magician of Faith and getting a Pot of Greed a second time, and then using Call of the Haunted to get back their Dekoichi, the Battle-Chained Locomotive. This is some top tier Yu-Gi-Oh here. We're setting Book of Moon. Alright, now I added Book of Moon to this deck list I found. It is an amazing card. Flip your opponent's monsters face down. Flip your monsters face down. It does it all. Opponent hitting us with the Change of Heart. We're going to let this go. Let our Grizzly Bear die. Opponent attacking. Now this would be a very bad trade for us. Yomi ship would pop our Mother Grizzly, so we wouldn't get it back at the end of turn, so we'd be down 2 cards. So we're going to use the Book of the Moon. Flip the bear face down. Flip it face down. Actually would have been better here to flip our Yomi ship, because then they can't attack it with the Dekoichi. But we're kind of happy with that trade anyway, so I'm just going to let it go. Opponent, setting. Setting, we get our bear back. The bear is back. Let's get to battle. Crash into that locomotive. And the bear, this is why it's so good. When it dies by battle, you summon another bear. There's other things it can summon too. I'll show you later. Let's get in with the Yomi ship. Opponent has 2 set back row. We also got a very interesting banned card, Mirage of Nightmare. Once per turn during the standby phase, we draw until we have 4 cards, but then on the next standby phase, our standby phase, we got to discard the same number we drew. So it doesn't add cards to your hand. It mostly gets cards into your graveyard, and that might seem bad, but it's because we're actually using this to search for a very specific card, the Sinister Serpent. The Serpent, if it goes to the graveyard, comes back to your hand. So in a way, it kind of like loots through your deck. Also makes your cards like Salvage live. So Salvage can be used to get your water monsters back from the graveyard if you randomly discard them. Although in a situation like this, you got to hope to get lucky. Alright, we got 5 cards in the hand, but we got to discard 3. If we keep the Mobius, that'd be great. We can pop opponent's 2 back row. If we keep the MST, that's great. We can pop one of opponent's 2 back row. Don't really need any of these 3, so you got to just get lucky sometimes. Hit the Torrential Tribute, hit the MST, hit the Mobius. So not ideal, but it's all good. All right, we got this. We're good. Let's attack. Opponent playing Dark Hex Sealed Fusion, which makes me think they're playing the Fusion deck list. I don't remember. They do give you some free deck lists if you want to try this event out, but you don't want to craft Pot of Greed. You can try out the deck list they give you. Let's draw 3, and here it is, the powerhouse of the deck, the Abyss Soldier. Discard a water monster, return a card on the field to the hand. 1800 attack. That is a lot. Alright, that's a lot. Opponent Snatch Stealing. Our Mother Grizzly going to attack our Yomi ship. I'm going to deny that. Flip it to defense mode. If we hold one of these Abyss Soldiers in the hand, we can bounce our Mother Grizzly. Very good. Also, Mother Grizzly, fun fact, alright, if it dies on the opponent's side of the field, because they stole it, it dies and goes to our graveyard, we get the summon trigger. So if we destroy our opponent's Mother Grizzly that they stole from us by battle, we get it back. Draw into that Jar of Greed. Alright, we got to discard some cards. Discard Sakuretsu Armor. Discard one of our whales. Discard our Jar of Greed, but we're good. Let's summon the whale. Hit the Mother Grizzly. Trigger the Mother Grizzly. Get Grizzle in. Get our third Grizzly. Call the Haunted, the Mobius back to get big damage. Hit that Dark Hex Sealed Fusion. Opponent's got 2 back row, but what is their back row? There is no Mirror Force today. We are safe from Mirror Force. Don't need to worry about it. Opponent's got a lot of cards in the hand. We got a lot of cards in the hand, but it's a fake. Our cards are fake. Opponent with the Tribe Infecting Virus. This is one of the beat stick powerhouses of this format. Limited to 1. You discard a card, choose a monster type, pop all the ones of this type. Now, luckily, our deck is Aqua, mostly Aqua. So if opponent uses Tribe Infecting Virus, they also pop the Tribe Infecting Virus. Here it goes. Opponent names Aqua, pops the whole field except for the Mama Grizzly. Back to our turn. Jar of Greed again. We got to discard some cards. Discard Solemn. Discard the Sakuretsu Armor. Discard the Upstart Goblin. Alright. Things are going fine. We still haven't found the card we need. Let's use Secret Pot of Greed Salvage. Adds 2 cards from our graveyard to our hand. Get in for a big damage. And opponent, you got, at this point, it looking like you got 1 turn left to figure it out. Let's Jar of Greed. Draw us another Salvage. So now we're drawing 1. Now we only have to discard 1 on the next standby phase. Opponent with the Breaker. Breaker gonna pop the Sakuretsu Armor, but opponent, how do you get through our bear? Our wall of beautiful bears. Bear, summoning from the deck, the Yomi ship. And opponent is done. Alright, we just gotta hope this set back row is nothing. Discard random salvage. Alright, let's clear it. Mobius, pop the back row. And opponent knows they are done. Yomi ship and the Mobius was too much. And this is 2004 format. Stick around, let's go on to the next game. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video. I'll have the full deck list. People always sending me their Sink or Swim replays. If you want to send one in, check out the video description. All right, this is a great going first start. We're going to set the Revival Jam. If it gets destroyed by battle, pay 1,000 life points. It gets special summon in defense position on the next turn. Now, summoning in defense position isn't that great, but it can be a body, and just having more bodies on the field in this format is really good, where it's harder to get monsters onto your field out of your hand. Double Jar of Greed. Opponents seeing this, they're like, I'm going to pop your whole board, and you're going to be sad. Because watch this. Opponent with the Heavy Storm. Now, this card's banned. I wouldn't recommend crapping this, although it is really fun. You're not going to be able to play it anywhere else, and it's never getting unbanned. And it's not as fun as Pot of Greed. So, you know, don't crap the Heavy Storm. That's just my personal opinion. Also, when you fire off the Pot of Greed, you always get 2 cards. But when you fire off Heavy Storm, sometimes you get cheesed. We flip up the 2 Jar of Greeds. Opponent, they 2 for 1 themselves. Well, not really. They 1 for 1. We turned it into a pop a single card. So this is Mystical Space Typhoon, but slower. Opponent probably thought they were gonna destroy us, but we're doing good. Nobleman across out hitting our Jam. We only have 1 copy of the Jam in the deck. Maybe I should run more copies of the Jam. You tell me. All right, we'll look at the deck list at the end. Deck list is very fun. Opponent sat in 1 card, but we got the Pot of Greed now. We get extra greed. We draw 2 cards. We draw 2 more. Let's normal summon Abyss Soldier. Hit opponent for 18. Set some more back row. Great thing about this format, all right? Heavy Storm, limited to 1. So once opponent wipes our whole field, they're not going to be doing it again unless they can get it back from the graveyard. Opponent, Horus's Servant, and the Metamorphosis, summoning Thousand Eyes Restrict from the extra deck, targeting our Abyss Soldier to equip. I don't think so. Let's get flipping face down, deny the steal, and opponent knows it's over. Whale does it again. Love to see it. Let's go on to the next game. On to the next game. Now, you let me know if you played with any of these cards when you were a kid growing up, because a lot of these cards are very nostalgic for me. And I'm going to talk about, we're going to set this, I'm going to talk about Penguin Soldier. Penguin Soldier is one of my favorite cards. Not objectively very good, but I'm playing it at 1. We'll talk about it at the end. Opponent with Mechanical Chaser. You wouldn't believe it, but this card, I think it used to be like $100. 1850 attack was just so big back in the day that people played it for its raw power. Upstart Goblin, let's draw into MST, pop the back row. It's a Solemn Judgment. Let's summon Yomi Ship. And a great thing about this format is You got to be you're going to get a lot of turns, all right? You got to be thinking, all right? You don't want to overcommit to the board because opponent's going to wipe the board up with their heavy storms. So you want to just hold things, all right? And you don't want to throw out your big threats. Like if I throw out Abyss Soldier here, opponent can just remove it. Then we're doing sad things. So Yomi Ship out here, just poking for 800. And to clear it, opponent's going to use one of their removal spells in the hand, or they got to sacrifice a monster. So Yomi Ship doing some big work here. Opponent with the Fairy Lily, but they don't want to attack into the Yomi Ship and lose their Injection Fairy. So we're just going to keep this Yomi Ship live. This card, if you don't remember, you can pay 2,000 life points, and it boosts its attack to 3,000, becomes literally Blue Eyes White Dragon, but only during the damage step. All right, here it is, Sinister Servant. I told you about it before. In the standby phase, it comes back from the graveyard to your hand, and then in the next end phase of your opponent's turn, it banishes a snake from your graveyard. But the trick is to just not discard. You discard every other turn. It's free material. Watch that. We gave our opponent the Sinister Servant with the creature swap. We swapped it out, stole the Fairy Lily, and now we're the Fairy Lily now. Now we're the Fairy Lily. Pay 2,000 life points. Deal 3,400 to the opponent. Opponent is having a bad time. Penguin Soldier still here. And we got the Abyss Soldier to clear troublesome things. Red Gadget with the limiter removal. Opponent boosting. This is the Gadget deck. This is one of the decks you can try out if you want to play this format. And opponent maybe not playing this deck that greatly, but stealing back the Fairy Lily. Very rude opponent. But the thing about this deck is it is quite strong if you play it well. It's just thick monsters. Opponent hitting our Yomi Ship, destroying their Fairy Lily, and they keep the Red Gadget, but Red Gadget going to die to the limiter removal. So opponent probably should have attacked the other order, then they would have kept their Injection Fairy Lily on the field. But you know what, opponent? I'm not going to tell you how to play. Sinister Serpent come back to the hand. Now it is time. Let's run out the Penguin Soldier. I know you were thinking, hey, why not get in with the Abyss Soldier attack for 18? Because if opponent clears it, then what do? Then we're just in big trouble. So let's just be patient. One more turn. One more turn. Hold the Penguin Soldier out here. Opponent setting. Sinister Serpent. Banishing a Sinister Serpent from the graveyard, but we don't have one. Let's normal summon. Abyss Soldier. Use the Penguin. Flip him face up. Get in for lethal damage with the Penguin Soldier. And the Abyss Soldier. Love it. This is classic. This is the wateriest way to play 2004 format. Let's go on to the next game. On to the next game. I hope some of you film some games in this format and send them to me because I really loved it. I know there's an Umi deck you can play, but I don't think it's very strong, especially compared to this kind of more grindy, watery deck. But you let me know if you're experts in the old format, if the old ways. Opponent playing the Fusion deck. This is another one of the decks that is on loan. You can play it. They'll give you your free Pot of Greed, your free Heavy Storm that you can use in the deck list. And this is your goal. When you're playing the Fusion deck, you polymerize into the twin-headed Thunder Dragon, and that's 2,800 attack, which is a lot of attack points. Opponent with the Breaker, they're going to get in, do a lot of damage. I'm still going to pay 1,000 to get my Revival Jam back because I got plans. I got plans for the next turn. Opponent hitting us with a twin-headed Thunder Dragon. Now watch this. Watch this play. All right, Revival Jam comeback. It's going to be stuck in defense mode. Let's Abyss Soldier, discard the Serpent, bounce that boy back to the hand, the Breaker back to the hand. You might be thinking, wait, are you insane? Now he's got twin-headed Thunder Dragon. How do you clear that? Creature swap. We give our opponent the jam. We hit the jam, pay 1,000 life points, get back the jam, hit opponent with their own Thunder Dragon that is now ours. Set this enemy controller. And opponent, your move. Opponent setting something. It's our turn. Sinister Serpent comes back. We draw the Mother Grizzly. The motherest of all Grizzlies. Revival Jam comes back. Let's summon the Grizzly. Bounce this back to the hand. We got lethal damage with the opponent's stolen twin-headed Thunder Dragon. And that is the power of the Abyss Soldier. Abyss Soldier just bouncing a monster each turn. Makes it so the opponent can't do anything with their bricky hand to all monsters. Love to see it. On to the next game. On to the next game. Now you might be thinking, hey, are you unstoppable with this deck list? Yes. Unstoppable so far. We're going to keep playing. We're going to keep showing off the games. And then, like I said, after, we'll be getting to opponent. What is this nonsense? Nobleman of Extermination. Target a face-down spell trap destroyed. And if you do banish it, if it was a trap, Reveal your main deck and banish all card with that name. So this let us look at the opponent's deck, see what nonsense they were up to, and if they had any Solemns, we get to banish all their Solemns. But we were only running one Solemn. Opponent was not running any Solemns. Their deck list was a bunch of monsters, and I forget what they all are. So the memory is lost to time. Opponent. Reinforcement of the army, getting a Goblin Attack Force. That is Thick Monster Tribal. Tribe Infecting Virus, again, going to name Aqua because of our Aqua, and it's going to pop their own Tribe Infecting Virus. They never realize, they don't realize that they're popping their own tribe by doing that, but it's all good. Back to our turn. We are running a little bit short on the monsters here. We got a bit of a low monster situation, but it's okay. We can wait. We can be patient. In this era of Yu-Gi-Oh, a single turn on the opponent's side doesn't mean you instantly get OTK'd. Goblin Attack Force hitting us, switch into defense mode. Now send 2 back row, and this is why you love the OG Yu-Gi-Oh, because you get plays like this. Let's change a heart, steal the Goblin Attack Force, tribute it for the Mobius, pop 2 opponent's back rows. Opponent gonna Ring of Destruction, hitting us for 2,400 and hitting an M for 2,400. But that actually is some big damage. We are pretty close to death. So at any moment, we could die. We would die to an Injection Fairy Lily. Luckily, we got this Torrential. Opponent, Exiled Force. Sorcery Speed, pop itself, destroy a monster. No match for the mother of all Grizzlies. The Mama Grizzly. Let's get in. Pop them. 400 damage. Opponent, what more tricks do you have? They got 2 cards left in the hand. It's the Injection Fairy. Hitting us, trying to get big damage. We're going to pop it with the Sakuretsu armor. Opponent, can you draw out of the situation? And that is the most fun part about this. At any point, opponent could draw out. They could draw the out, and we would be done. All right? What is the out in this situation? You know, I don't really know, but I'm sure there is one. Opponent sat 1 back row. We're going to pop it with MST. Back to our turn. And let's just grind them out. Tribe Infecting Virus. Get in for 14. Get in for 16. Opponent, you got 1 more turn. 1 more turn to draw the out. Change of heart. Drawing the Tribe Infecting Virus, discarding the creature swap. Opponent, this is not Masterclass Yu-Gi-Oh! This is the opposite of Masterclass. Alright, look. You use Change of Heart on the bear. Then you use creature swap to steal the Tribe Infecting Virus. Tribe Infecting Virus is bigger than the bear, so you're winning that situation. But now, opponent pops the bear. They hit us for 16, but then we get back the Tribe Infecting Virus, and opponent knows it is over, so they are done. Opponent forgot how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's go. On to the next game. We got our beautiful whale. We got the Sinister Serpent in the hand. The combo is live. Each turn, we discard the Serpent. Get the Serpent back. Opponent playing Gadgets. Gadgets, again, one of the loner decks, but they got 2 set back row. Could be a bit problematic. Let's get drawn. Let's get Pot of Upstart Goblin in. And we're going to start by setting. Alright, because, like I said before, these Yomi ships are good for stalling up the board, removing opponent's monsters, helping us get an on-board edge. And then we'll get the Abyss Soldier out there once, you know, opponents use some of their cards, use some of their removal, and we got a better position. Opponent, green gadget. Adding another gadget to the hand. The great thing about these gadgets, they all replace themselves. So you're going card advantaged. They're +1. Each gadget is a +1. They may seem terrible, but when you drop +1 off each one, that's value. We're going to go for the Abyss Soldier now, since it's a bit dangerous to tribute Mobius and pop these back row. If Mobius gets destroyed, we got nothing. We're getting beat for a lot by all these nonsensy gadgets. So let's Abyss Soldier. Return that gadget to the hand. Keep opponent's hand clear. Opponent, Sakuretsu armor. We're going to flip him face down to dodge. This is not going to long-term save our monster, but it might save our Yomi ship. So it is like, you know, we're just trying to grind out an edge here. Opponent, normal summoning Breaker. Breaker going to be able to clear the Abyss Soldier, but now opponent still has, they have 2 monsters. We got 1 still. We got the Yomi ship live. All right. On to the next draw. Creature swap comes back to the hand. The Sinister Serpent. Let's set the other Yomi ship. Again, I'm really worried about this back row. If I tribute summon the Mobius and Mobius gets stolen or destroyed, we're just an extremely vulnerable city. Yomi ship, protect us. Opponent, green gadget. Green gadget drawing the red gadget. They just got gadgets for days. Battle phase. Yomi ship, protect us. Opponent basically sacrificing Breaker to clear the Yomi ship. We got one Yomi ship left. Sinister Serpent, banishing Sinister Serpent from the graveyard. Luckily, it's still in the hand. Mother Grizzly. Now, this is what I was saying, all right? This is why I started to make mistakes, all right? If I summon the Mother Grizzly, pop the green gadget, we get a second summon from the Mother Grizzly, can clear out the yellow gadget. But I'm just so worried about this back row. I'm going to tribute, get the Mobius out here. Mobius, pop 2, but opponent has Raigeki Break. Raigeki Break pops the Mobius, and now we are in Danger City. We got nothing. We cleared out opponent's back row, all right? Got their Torrential Tribute, but we got nothing. And opponent is every turn drawing a gadget. Gadget for days. Luckily, each individual gadget is pathetically weak, so hopefully we can hold them off. Opponent hitting us for big damage. Back to our turn. We got a Book of the Moon. All right, Book of the Moon maybe can seal the deal. If opponent tribute summons or something like that, we got Book of the Moon and we got Creature Swap. Let's just believe, all right? Bear attacks, summons another bear, attack the red gadget, opponent down to one monster. We're living the dream, but opponent with the second Raigeki Break. We're getting Raigeki broken. Let's have Book of the Moon. All right, now, we may look like we're dead, but we are not dead. Opponent only has 3,900 damage. So Book of the Moon can save us, give us another turn. All we got to do is draw the out. Yellow gadget gets here. Searches for the green gadget. Opponent goes to battle. We flip him face down. Prevent us from getting deadified. Opponent down to 3,700 attack power. But if we get something big enough, we could live. Opponent with another back row. Let's draw. Draw that Abyss Soldier. We're going to remove the back row. If it's a Sakuretsu armor, that's what I'm playing around here. I'm just going to play around Sakuretsu armor, clear a gadget, hope for the best. Opponent's got so many cards in the hand. We got 2 cards left. But our Sinister Serpent's going to come back. So we're living the dream. All right. Opponent. They got a Creature Swap, and that is going to be lethal, stealing our whale, tribute summoning Cybertech Alligator, and getting in for lethal damage with the Shrink. Just flexing on us at this point. All right. We got. See? The gear deck. The gadget deck. It is very strong in the right hands. Let's go on to the next game. Another quality hand. We got the Jar of Greed. We got Salvage to grind. Revival Gem and Yomi Ship to clear difficult monsters. Opponent with a Pot of Greed. Set and 2 T-set pass. Love to see it. But let's get in with the Abyss Soldier, alright? In a situation like this, should I just go for Revival Gem or Yomi Ship? Nah, we're going to play it up because we got Salvage. These monsters get in the graveyard. We can salvage them back. Turn on our secret Pot of Greed. Let's discard bounce the back row. Get in. Hit that Dekoichi. Opponent draws a card. Opponent, they have so many cards. They Pot of Greed at us. They are in card advantage city, but can they get enough bodies on the board to do something to us? Thunder Dragon. Searching for Thunder Dragon. Opponent with a Snatch Steal, stealing our Abyss Soldier. Going to battle, hitting us. And are we done for? Are we in trouble? Well, we're going to Jar of Greed. Get an enemy controller. We got the Revival Jam. We got another Sakuretsu armor. Opponent giving us life points. All right. Let's set the Jam. Jam with Snatch Steal is life point neutral. So, we're gaining 1,000 from the Snatch Steal. And opponent targeting with the Nobleman across out. Luckily, enemy controller, which is another tech card I subbed in, lets us tribute the Revival Jam, switch this Abyss Soldier to defense mode. Or steal. We're going to steal. We're going to steal the Abyss Soldier back just for a turn, we're just borrowing him. Opponent has no attacks, and it's back to our turn. I'm surprised opponent's not tributing this, but I guess it's bigger than the Thunder Dragons they could tribute for. Salvage, Pot of Greed. Salvage, look at this. This is Pot of Greed number 3. Pot of Greed number 3. Get our Revival Jam back. Get our Yomi Ship back. Set the Revival Jam, and we're just going to keep stalling until we get the out. Opponent drawn into Polymerization, summoning Meteor Black Dragon. 3,500 attack points. Tribute summoning Thunder Dragon to Metamorphosis, the Fiend Skull Dragon, who is immune, cannot be targeted by trap effects, and negates the effect of flip monsters. So, luckily, we're not playing a lot of flip monsters in this deck, other than Penguin Soldier. Opponent getting in, hitting us with the Fiend Skull. Revival Jam, I'm going to pay the life points. Revival Jam, come back. Let's pop that Meteor Black Dragon. Again, Fiend Skull Dragon immune to being popped. but not the Skull Dragon. So 3,500 attack is nothing when you get popped. Revival Jam come back. Mobius is here, but do we really want to tribute Mobius, not pop any of opponent's back row, when we could just set a Yomi ship and opponent's going to attack the Yomi ship and their monster's going to die? Like, that's a much better trade. We're gonna hope for the plus one, the advantages. Opponent hits the Yomi ship. Yomi ship destroys the fusion monster, and opponent can't handle it. Rage quitting. Love to see it. Water is back. Let's go on to the next game. On to the next game. All right. We got Yomi ships. We got creature swap. We got Book of Moon. We got the beautiful Call of the Haunted. An amazing, powerful card. Opponent with the T-set pass, but they misaligned their T-set. So I think we are favored here, especially with Pot of Greed, allowing us to draw 2 additional cards. You know what? Whatever opponent has, there's no way it's worse than Sinister Serpent. Let's do the old creature swap trick. Opponent had a sneaky Marshmallow. If we would have attacked that, can't be destroyed, flips face up, we take 1,000 damage. So now, opponent, we got the Marshmallow. Set that Sakuretsu Armor, set that Book of Moon. Opponent, Breaker, pop in the face. Oh, pop in the Sakuretsu Armor, right? Sad, but if we use the Book of Moon to flip it face down, we got to get 1,000 damage on the field or more to pop it. Not necessarily guaranteed, so I think that was fine. Opponent, flipping our Marshmallow face up, taking 1,000 damage. But how do they clear their own Marshmallow? Smashing ground, trying to destroy the Marshmallow. Luckily, Book of the Moon, protect the Marshmallow. Flip it face down, no longer face up. Smashing ground does nothing. Opponent, you got to draw another out. They got to draw another out to the Marshmallow. Marshmallow, an amazingly powerful wall in opponent's deck, so we got to figure out what opponent's doing. This is not one of the pre-made decks. Opponent is going custom. They've made their own list. Let's Revival Jam opponent, firing off Torrential Tribute to clear their Marshmallow. They are going with the TT, popping the whole field. All right, Call the Haunted is back. That did put opponent up pretty high on card advantage. All right, we lost Sinister Serpent. Our Revival Jam will come back, and opponent popped 2 cards. But one of them was the Marshmallow that we stole from them. So opponent, back potentially favored. They get Satin again. Here they go, Satin again. Sinister Serpent back to the hand. Abyss Soldier is here. Do we bounce their face down card, the back row, or do we bounce this? Now I'm always worried about the Sakuretsu Armor. So I am going to bounce the monster and not worry about Sakuretsu Armor. Also, why didn't I use Sinister Serpent? Because I activated this turn. If I discard it, it'll get banished. So I'm just going to discard a Yomi ship. We're going to get greedy, and here's the Sakuretsu Armor. This is why I should always remember to worry about it. If I'd pop that back row back to the hand, could attack the opponent's monster, figured out what it is, maybe I'd be in a better spot. But now we're in trouble. Opponent, Satin 2. Sinister Serpent banishes itself from the graveyard. Luckily, again, it is in the hand. We got Book of Moon. We got Yomi ship. We got Call the Haunted. Get back the Abyss Soldier, but opponent has a bottomless popping our whale, and now we are in so much trouble. Yomi ship face down can pop opponent's monster if it attacks us. Opponent playing the Shining Angel. This is Grizzly. This is Mama Grizzly, but in angel form. Same effect. It dies, they search a monster. Upstart Goblins here. Let's get thin in the deck. Drawn into Change of Heart. Now, is Change of Heart good in this situation? What can we do with it? Not really anything, so we're just going to hold. We are going to hold. Hold and stay safe. DD Warrior Lady. This card is so strong. Back in the old days, it attacks. You can choose to banish. So if the monster is smaller than the DD Warrior Lady, you don't have to do anything. But if it's bigger, you just banish. Opponent trying to banish the Yomi ship. Not going to work. Back to our turn. Opponent turtling. We got to clear this. We got to clear this. All right, this is threat number 1. So what do? We got Change of Heart. We got Creature Swap. Let's Change of Heart. Steal the DD Warrior Lady. Attack Banish, the Shining Angel, so it doesn't search. Sinister Serpent, Creature Swap. Steal opponent's second Marshmallow. Opponent with Marshmallow for days. Now, if Sinister Serpent dies, we get it back. Opponent playing Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning. This was a powerhouse. Oh my goodness. And it is a powerhouse against us too. They banish their light and dark monsters from the graveyard to summon it. And now each turn they can target a monster, banish it. Also has 3,000 attack. And if it destroys a monster by battle, they can make a second attack. So luckily, Opponent can't really clear both of our monsters right now, but they are going to banish our Yomi ship, which is our out to the Blackluster Soldier. So we are in big trouble. Opponent taking 1,000 damage to flip this Marshmallow face up. So probably so they can pop it with Blackluster Soldier on the next turn. Set in the back row, set in a face down. Breaker gonna pop the back row, but how do we out the Blackluster Soldier? Shrink. He's getting shrunk. That's fine. Get shrunk a little bit. These things happen. The water gets real cold. Well, let's attack Sinister Serpent. Now, Sinister Serpent's gonna come back to our hand, but we still don't have an out for Blackluster Soldier. Blackluster Soldier can banish Marshmallow, so we are in big trouble. Opponent banishing Marshmallow, summoning the Mystic Tomato, and their other monster was Newdoria. If it's destroyed, target a monster on the field, destroy it. This is Yomi ship, but better. This is just Yomi. I'm you, but better. But it's pointing at Yomi ship. Our opponent getting in with Mystic Tomato. We got to draw the out, and we already have Pot of Greed in the graveyard, so we can't draw another Pot of Greed. Let's draw Ring of Destruction. All right. You know what? This might be it. We pop the Blackluster Soldier. We live. We continue to live. Let's get set in. Opponent getting in with a tomato. Let's pop the Blackluster Soldier. Just tomato to deal with now. Opponent down to 2,900. We are down to 22. This could go either way. Sinister Serpent effect to banish itself in the graveyard goes away. Mother Grizzly trades with the tomato. Then they keep searching. So this is kind of like an equal equivalence. This is an equivalency situation. Mama Grizzly search. Opponent search with the tomato. But we're not really getting advantage here. That the one benefit, and this kind of helps both of us, all right? It thins the Mama Grizzlies out of the deck, and it gets multiple water monsters in our graveyard that we can search for later. So we're thinning the deck. We're thinning the deck. Opponent also thinning the deck. Opponent has some better top decks, though. If they're running any more copies of BLS, we are going to be in big trouble. Mystic Tomato's back. Opponent shrinking. They held off for so long. Shrinking our Mama Grizzly. Mama Grizzly dying. Now we're going to get the Yomi ship, and we're going to pop that tomato, so opponent's got nothing. We got nothing. Opponent's got nothing. I guess we got the Sinister Serpent. Opponent, your move. Opponent sets a face down. All right. All right, we're back in this. Enemy controller can protect our monsters from attack. Do we attack with the Sinister Serpent, though? Seeing as we have 900 life points, almost every monster in their deck would generate lethal if we play this face up. So I'm going to set. We're going to set the Serpent. Opponent's card was MST. That means our controller is done for. Not ideal. Opponent drawing cross out. Cross out banishing our Serpent. This is so rough, but we are in a top deck war. This is the worst possible card to draw in a top deck war, alright? Mirage of Nightmares. Honestly, card I considered cutting from the deck the most. It's kind of a chaos draw factor, but it does actually make you go -1. So is it ever even right to play this? You let me know, alright? We didn't draw the out. We drew the exact opposite of the out. Opponent's still bricking. They still got set back row. All right, another pot of Jar of Greed. Jar of Greed is here. Get greedy. And opponent drawing Zombaya. Hold on a second. Are we dead? This card cannot attack directly. So we are not dead. All right, we live. We continue to live. Let's draw. Abyss Soldier. What can we do with Abyss Soldier here? We bounce this back to the hand. They resummon it, attack Abyss Soldier, and we die. That's not ideal. Well, we don't die, but we lose the Abyss Soldier. So what's the play? We can use Salvage. Salvage activate. Get back the Yomi ship. Get back the Bear. If Bear just gets destroyed, we get to resummon another Yomi ship from the deck. I think we still got one Yomi ship left. Yes, we have a Yomi ship left in the deck. So Bear is our pathway to victory. We're going to set the Bear. We're going to believe. We're going to believe. And then next turn we can start Abyss Soldier, discarding, bouncing stuff back to the hand. But opponent drawing DD Warrior Lady. That's going to clear the Yomi ship with the Zombaya and then get in for lethal damage. And that is the end. We are done. Opponent did it. BLS, a grind game, a top deck battle. Mirage of Nightmares not being the out was, I think, what did us in. So you let me know. Should I cut it? Should I cut it? We got one more day left of this format. Let's do one more game, and then let's go on to the deck list. On to the next game. I'm just having so much fun in this event, all right? This is just a throwback to schoolyard Yu-Gi-Oh! From back in the day when I was in school. This is going to date me, all right? You're going to be able to tell how old Sim King is from this. Shrab Infecting Virus on the summon. We're going to flip it face down, stop it from activating, stop it from popping our Mama Grizzly. Opponent get flipped. Opponent does nothing else. No back row. Let's draw our Greed. Greed is good. Abyss Soldier. Get in here. We know Tribe Infecting Virus is there. We don't want it back in their hand. Let's clear it. Attack for 18. Penguin Soldier is chilling. We got Penguin Soldier chilling. We got Tribe Infecting Virus to pop. Opponent, Premature Burial. Unstealing the Tribe Infecting Virus. They get to discard Clear Beast Warrior. Mama Grizzly, be gone. Opponent with the Vorse Raider. 1900 attack points. That clears the Abyss Soldier. And are we done for? I don't think so. I think we still got lots of cards that can get us out of this situation. Let's draw. Oh, perfect. The perfect line. This is my favorite old school line. Change a heart. Yoink the monster. Mobius Tribute Summon. Then you pop some back row. You steal, then you tribute. Let's get in for 24. Opponent. What can you even do? How do you out the Mobius? Opponent. Thunder Dragon. Thunder Dragon, get Thunder Dragon. Get another Thunder Dragon. That's card advantage. That's +1. +1 on the Thunder Dragon. And here is the Fusion Gate. Opponent Fusion summoning the twin-headed Thunder Dragon. 2800 attack. Get in. Pop the Mobius. But I'm not. I still believe. Alright, Penguin Soldier is the out to twin-headed Thunder Dragon, so we're golden. We also got the Tribe Infecting Virus. Let's get Tribe Infecting. Discard our Penguin. Pop the Thunder. And then salvage back the Penguin and the Mama Grizzly. That's Pot of Greed. Salvage is Pot of Greed. We got so many Pots of Greed in this deck. Let's get in for 16. Sakuretsu Armor, protect our Tribe Infecting Virus. Opponent, can you do anything to stop it? They're setting it back. They're setting a face down. Throwing down a face down. Book of Moon is here. Mama Grizzly is here. Let's pop that Magician of Faith. Magician of Faith getting back the Premature Burial. And set the Penguin. We're going to set the Penguin-y boy. Very good against Fusion deck. We also got Book of Moon. Opponent. Premature Burial. Getting back the twin-headed Thunder Dragon. Go into battle. We're flipping it face down. Opponent. No more plays set in the back row. Penguin. Flip. Flip with the Penguin. Bounce the monster back to the hand. Normal summon the bear. This is lethal attack with the Penguin. Get in there. But opponent has Call of the Haunted, getting back Vorse Raider. But here's the trick, alright? This is pro play. Mama Grizzly attack, suicide itself. Search the deck for the Yomi ship, attack, pop the Yomi ship, pop the Vorse Raider. And now we got a lethal direct attack with the Tribe Infecting Virus. Love it. So beautiful, so perfect. You know what? I said this was the last game, but I can't stop. We're going to do one more. Bonus game. Let's go. If you're still watching, thanks for sticking around all the way till the end. We're going to have the deck list after this. We'll see if we have time for Sink and Swim. We'll take a look at the schedule. Opponent going first, playing Swords of Revealing Light. Stopping attacks for 3 turns, and they're playing Rituals. Again, this is not in the trial decks. They made this. This is custom. Contract with the Dark Master, summoning Dark Master Zork. Zork is here, 2700 attack. Rolling a dice effect to pop opponent's monsters, so they could pop our monsters randomly with dice. I don't like that. Alright, let's see if we can figure a way to out the Zork. Remember, we cannot attack with the Swords of Revealing Light on the field. Let's start by MSTing the face down. I'm not worried about swords. It is a Zoma the Dark Spirit monster trap with 1800 defense, or sorry, 1800 attack. So that is cleared. Abyss Soldier is here. Now we could discard Mobius, bounce the Zork, but Ring of Destruction on the standby phase. Popping that Zork, I think, is the way to go. Let's get popping. Zork be gone. Abyss Soldier is here. Opponent set in back row. Alright. Alright. Seeing opponent's deck, I don't think this is gonna pop our Mobius. So I'm gonna get greedy. I'm gonna tribute summon. Pop that swords. Pop that back row. Opponent's got another Zoma. Zoma is getting popped. Opponent's got one face down monster. And who knows what this nonsense is, but let's just attack and find out. It is Morphing Jar. Limited to 1 in regular Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't remember. I think it's probably limited to 1 in this event too. It's going to make us both discard our hands and draw 5. So opponent +5 off that Morphing Jar. Oh my goodness. We could be in huge trouble. We got 2 Book of Moons to protect. Senju is here. Getting that Dark Master Zork. Zork getting Ritual summoned. Attributing a Cosmo Queen. Alright, let's quickly flip that face down before he gets priority. Respond to the summon. Opponent's got no attacks. They're set back row, not doing anything. Let's Change of the Heart, steal the Senju, tribute summon the Mobius, pop the back row. Opponent responding with a trap hole. Trap hole gonna pop the Mobius, but it's too late. They lost their back row. We still got another Mobius. Opponent lost Sakuretsu armor. I could have stolen, alright, the Zork with the creature swap, but I think it's better to just pop it with Mobius. And opponent, you're down to 2 cards. We got 3 cards. We got Mobius, we got Abyss Soldier, we got Revival Jam. Opponent setting a face down. Let's bounce it back to the hand. Don't worry about it. This is the power of the Abyss Soldier in old school 2004 format. Opponent's trying to set. They're just trying to live. But Abyss Soldier bounces thing back to the hand each turn. Opponent setting a face down. Have we got game? We did not draw a water monster. We cannot flip it back to the hand. Opponent has a Marshmallow. They're going to stall. We could creature swap, but I don't think it's worth it. Let's just pass. We could do it next turn. Opponent with the Kyoku Ghost Destroyer. They want to try and clear Abyss Soldier so that we are left with this Mobius that can't out the Marshmallow. Luckily, Jar agreed. Gonna flip face up, and Book of Moon gonna flip face down. Flip down that Kaiku, prevent the attack, and now it is our turn. Let's try and push for lethal. Discard Sinister, bounce the Marshmallow. Opponent responding with a Ring of Destruction, but opponent, your life points. That's 2,400 damage. They are committing seppuku honorably with that Ring of Destruction on the Mobius, and opponent knew they had no out. Love to see a very fun game. That's the end. Let's go to the deck list. All right, here it is. Here is my event deck list. If you watch this video and it's before the end of day on Monday, you can still play in this event. So definitely break out this deck. All right, we got 1 Sinister. We got Penguin Soldier. I'm going to talk about this later. We got triple Yomi Ship. We got triple of the Mama Grizzly. We got 1 Revival Jam, a Breaker, Tribe Infecting Virus, triple Abyss Soldier. We got Mobius ×2. Of course, I crafted Pot of Greed. You do not need Pot of Greed, but that's kind of the reason to play this format. So if you're gonna play it, you just gotta get the Pot of Greed. You gotta go greed. You gotta go for the greed. Change of Heart, Upstart Goblin. We got 2 creature swaps, limited to 2. We got 2 of our backup Pot of Greeds with Salvage. Mirage of Nightmares. I honestly would recommend cutting this. I don't think it's worth it. It's banned in regular Yu-Gi-Oh. It's banned. But in this event it's at 1. I think we should play this at 0. I just don't think it's good enough. I don't think it makes the cut. Too much RNG. We got Mystical Space Typhoon at 1. We got triple book. We got 2 enemy controllers. Most of the time you draw this, you'd be like, I'd be better off with enemy controller. All right, enemy controller isn't a +1, but Mirage of Nightmares is a plus chaos. Ring of Destruction. We got Torrential. Triple Jar. This is deck thinning. This is deck thinning. And also bait for your opponent's removal, spell trap removal. We got triple Sakuretsu armor. We got the Solemn Judgment. And we got Call the Haunted. If you have more Solemns, you should probably play them. All right, I only have 1 Solemn. I didn't want to craft more right now. I'm just getting greedy with the Pot of Greed. Extra deck's all nonsense. You're never going to use this. Yeah, that's the deck. That's the deck. What would I change going in? Penguin Soldier is here because I love Penguin Soldier, not because it is good. There is another Penguin that is objectively better if you're playing in this event, and it's Nightmare Penguin. All right, 1800 defense, so often it won't die from battle, but boosts your water monsters, giving them an additional 200 attack points, and bounces a card back to the hand. So Nightmare Penguin, literally better in every way than the baby Penguin, Penguin Soldier. So sorry, Penguin Soldier. You know, we love you, but Nightmare Penguin is the way to go. Yeah, that's my recommendation for this. Also, Mirage of Nightmares, like I said, probably want to cut it. I know you can use it to dig for the Sinister Serpent, but I don't think the chaos factor is worth it. Also, as you saw, top deck battle, it's not going to pay off. Enemy controller is pretty good if you're playing on a budget. Otherwise, just throw in additional copies of Solemn Judgment. Trim down your enemy controllers, trim down your Book of the Moons, and you'll be golden. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Hope you liked the video. I don't think we have time for Sink or Swim today. I had too much fun playing in the event. If you got spicy event deck list, send it to me today. Maybe I'll have time to play it tomorrow. Yeah, and I'll feature it in the next video. Also, make sure to send in your replays. Love it. We will be featuring replays next time. Thanks so much for sticking around, and have a good night.